Welcome to Journey with the Jays on Real 1100 AM radio. Spencer, Jake, John, JB here. We have our NFL Sunday primetime edition where we give you our picks for the week. Now, the Falcons played on Thursday, so we're not going to talk about this game. We're going to go straight into our locks of the week, and I went 2-2 last week, so I'm going to start. For my lock of the week, I like the Las Vegas Raiders plus 2.5 over the Cleveland Browns. The game is in Cleveland. The Raiders are coming off a loss last week, as our guy Jeff Cadillac likes to say, who will be on the show later. This is a big bounce back game for Derek Carr and John Gruden. They just got walloped by the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. I think they're going to come out firing. I think they're going to get their pass game going. And the Cleveland Browns are coming off a win where their offense looked incredible, but they played a lot better than they actually are last week. Baker Mayfield will not be throwing 5 touchdowns a week. They just lost Odell Beckham. That's going to sting them this week. I like the Raiders to upset the Browns and cover the 2.5 points. JB?
Yeah, I mean, Cleveland played Cincinnati. I told you before the game that they were going to win that game. It wasn't a tough game. They didn't cover, but, the Raiders are a better team. I don't see them having much trouble beating Cleveland. Cleveland lost Odell, like you said. That's a big loss. Landry's still not 100%. He's still working his way back from off-season injury. Their receivers are banged up. Baker still hasn't looked himself. I'm not sold on them. I like Gruden in Vegas this week. John, what do you think?
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I like the Raiders in this one. I'm just looking at some of their stats. John Gruden's 4-0 in his career against the Browns. He's never lost to them. The Raiders won the past 2 games in this series. Both teams are giving up over 30 points a game, scoring about 28.5 a game. The Raiders are giving up 32 a game. Browns giving up 31. So I feel like this is going to be a high-scoring game. And without Odell, I don't feel like the Browns can necessarily keep up. And Derek Carr's having a great season. 13 touchdowns and 2 picks. So he's played fantastic. And like Spencer said, bounce back team. The Raiders are a really good team, and they're going to want to bounce back from that beating that they took. So that's why I have the Raiders in this one.
I think it's nice that we can all agree for once, because I'm with you guys as well. I'm taking the Raiders, absolutely. No doubt for sure. Look, the Browns are a decent team. Without Odell, that's really going to hurt them. You're losing – I don't want to say your best receiver, because I would still probably give that to Jarvis Landry right now. He's been the one really producing of the duo. But nonetheless, he's a talented receiver, and it's going to hurt Mayfield no matter what when you don't have one of your top guys to throw to. They already had lost Nick Chubb, and granted, Kareem Hunt is a very talented running back, but that was still a good 1-2 punch they had at running back, and now they got to rely on one guy as opposed to the 1-2 punch. And like you just said, I mean, the Raiders have been a solid team. They took down the Chiefs a few weeks ago now. That was an impressive win, and it wasn't like they didn't earn it. They're a solid team, and they're going to be, they're going to be a decent team. They might be a fringe playoff team this season if they continue to play well. They very well could make it on the edge, like I said. And so yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm taking the Raiders this week as well.
Raiders are 2-1 on the road this year, and I just want to give some props to one of the best tight ends in football right now, Darren Waller. I mean, he is a consistent player. He is Derek Carr's #1 option almost on every play. And he's been fantastic. So I want to give him credit where credit is due. Okay, John, you also finished 2-2 this week. So let's get into your lock of the week.
Yeah, my lock of the week is Pittsburgh. I feel like this is really a layup, personally, because of how tight these guys always play. It always comes down to the last possession with these two. The Ravens have won 3 of the past 4, but betting-wise, the Steelers +4 right now. I like that if you're betting Steelers because, like I said, always comes down to a field goal between these two. Always a tightly contested game. That's why I really like the Steelers on the road here. Steelers lead the all-time series 25-23. So I feel like this is going to be one of the tight games. Mike Tomlin's 12-14 against the Ravens. So he's going to want to get that record up. Both teams are scoring about 30 points a game and giving up under 20 points a game. So I really feel like defense is going to win out in this one. And it's going to be one of those grinded out, old school type of football games. So I'm going Steelers for my lock of the week.
Yeah. So if you're betting, I'm not taking I'm not taking the Ravens to cover. Like I like what John said. These teams really play close. It's a little worrying. That 4 points, I'm not sure how I feel about that right now. Really very well could come down to a field goal, so I'm really not sure how I'm feeling about that right now. That's something that they have a history of. If I'm picking just who's going to win though, I'm taking the Steelers. Actually, I think that Steelers defense is extremely formidable, and as good as Lamar Jackson and that Ravens offense can be, I like that Steelers defense a lot. The Ravens don't have the greatest run game. Obviously, they do a running back by committee, and we saw what one of the best running backs in the entire league had happened to him last week. Derrick Henry was held to, I believe, 75 yards last week, which is not bad by any means. But for Derrick Henry, that's not Derrick Henry-like numbers, and he almost felt pedestrian compared to what he's used to doing. And like I said, that secondary really too for the Steelers has been unreal. They do everything, and I could rave on and on and on, but I'm taking the Steelers to win this game for sure.
I definitely can understand, where you're coming from with the Steelers, but when it comes down to it, the Ravens have the MVP on the team. They're gonna come out there. They're gonna play. Their defense is no slouch either. They have a really good defense. It's gonna be a defensive-minded game. It's going to be whoever doesn't turn the ball over, because the turnover is going to be big in this game. I wouldn't bet this game. This is a game I'll enjoy watching, but if I have to pick, because we're doing the show, I'm going to say the Ravens, just because they're the team that did better last year, and they have more pieces that have been together longer. But it could go either way. It's going to come down to a turnover somewhere in this game. Spencer?
I like the Ravens as well. They are on my list of picks this week. I have the Ravens -4 over Pittsburgh. They are home. They are coming off a bye. They have one of the best defenses in football, and I think that it's all about if they're able to score in the first quarter and hit first. The Ravens cannot go down 14 or 21 points, because I don't like their offense as that comeback. Lamar Jackson needs to air it out offense. I would bet Ravens first quarter with the points, whatever that spread is, and then ride Ravens throughout the game, kind of live betting. But I do like the Ravens to win this game. I think it'll be more than 4 points. I think the Steelers are due for a bad game. Sometimes you're just riding too high. You saw what happened last week. They almost lost that game against Tennessee. They're a missed field goal away from that game going into overtime. I like the Ravens -4 in this one.
Keep in mind in this one, the Ravens have given up 53 yards per game more than the Steelers have defensively.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not discrediting the Steelers defense. They also have a great defense, but I for some reason I think the Ravens get extra juiced up for this game. It's a divisional game. They're home. The Ravens are one of those teams. It seems like they have something to prove, right? No one talks about them right now as the best team in football. You talk about Seattle, you talk about Kansas City. The Steelers are getting their due right now. Who's talking about the Ravens? This is a statement game for them.
Excellent point. I mean, I got to go with you on that. So, John, who do you have this week?
That was my lock of the week, was the Steelers.
I'll go. So for me this week, I have the Seattle Seahawks on a bounce back. As Jeff is constantly saying, bounce back is a big thing. I absolutely agree. We have the Seahawks this week at home, and they are playing against the San Francisco 49ers. And look, the 49ers offense has, first of all, not been very inspiring to me. I haven't loved it. And I'm not going to sit here and say the Seahawks defense is great, because it's not. But I love Russell Wilson this season just as a player. He has been MVP caliber. I know I said it last week. I'm going to keep saying it until he wins the MVP, or at least finally gets some votes, because I am sick of it. It is ridiculous. He was unreal. And yes, they lost, but Russell Wilson's not to blame. I put that on the defense. Russell Wilson looked fantastic yet again. He did Russell Wilson-like things. So this week at home, Seattle is favored by 3. I would take Seattle in that game. If I were betting, I would take not only Seattle to win, but I would also take Seattle to cover the spread by, it's a 3-point game. Even if it comes down to a field goal, which I don't tend to think it will. But even if it comes down to that, obviously then Seattle wins, which is what I'm predicting. They would cover the spread and you'd be fine. So I would bet Seattle if I'm looking at this. Like I said, on a bounce back, that's just I'd love to say that. I mean, he's Russell Wilson's a great athlete, great player, and I'm not going to bet against him. I'll leave it at that. Spenser?
There's a lot of things happening in this game, right? The Niners had Jeff Wilson score 3 touchdowns and then get hurt and sprain his ankle. The Seahawks have Chris Carson, who played a few snaps last game and then left with I think a medium ankle injury. It was, I'd have to look, a medium foot sprain, they said. Yeah. But I don't know if he's going to play. So that's going to, a lot's going to depend on that. The Niners don't have Patrick Peterson. So hopefully DK Metcalf will get a lot more involved in the offense. We won't just remember one heroic play of him chasing down a guy who intercepted the ball to make a tackle. He's going to have a big game. I like the Seahawks to cover this game as well. I think the Niners, they haven't faced a team like Seattle in the last few weeks who can get it going offensively. So I like Seattle to cover as well. JB?
Yeah, I'm with Seattle on this. Russell Wilson's the better quarterback. And when it comes down to it, their offense is a million times better than San Francisco. San Francisco weapons is Kittles and Mozart, and who's getting Kittles the ball? Jimmy G's just not been dependable. They benched him earlier in the season. Russell Wilson's been dependable. We've been talking about bounce back this whole show. Seattle's going to bounce back. They don't play multiple bad games in a row. They're better coached. They're just a better team, and they're going to come out and they're going to take care of business.
JB's completely wrong on this. Seattle has a mess with that backfield right now. Everybody's injured, and you're going to DJ Dallas potentially as your starting running back. Let me give you a little bit of stats. The Seahawks have given up 479 yards per game defensively. That's not good. And the Niners are only giving up 19 points per game. I like the Niners in this one. Looking at the MGM, San Fran 3.5 plus 3.5. I like that half point, just going by the MGM standards. And they're only giving up 19 points a game. And I know Seattle can score at will. They're scoring 33 a game, but they're giving up 28 a game. And the Niners can score. The Niners have been red hot. They've been playing really well since they got trounced by Miami. That's why I like the Niners going on the road in this one. I feel like Seattle comes out a little flat because of that loss to Arizona. I feel like they come out a little flat, and San Fran punches them in the mouth, and San Fran comes out in an upset. Without a run game, I feel like Seattle really might struggle here because they really need that run game to balance him out.
Yeah, but Seattle scored really well last week. But when you think about that, who was responsible for that? Was that the run game, or was that Russell Wilson and the rest of the offense?
It's hard to live up to giving up almost 500 yards a game. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you.
You're right, but when you can also score it well, like the Seattle team, look, that's why I'm picking them, obviously. They can score it well, and they do what they do with Russell Wilson. But look, we will see. JB, you have not given your pick. What is your pick for the week?
So after last week's debacle at 1-3, I'm going to come back with the Rams this week, flying cross country. They're going to be taking on the Tua team. We're not even going to call them by their real name. We're just going to call them the Tuas this week.
Oh, I see how this is.
Because they're going to put the poor guy out to slaughter. Nick Foles, who has won a Super Bowl, looked horrible against them. How is Tua going to fare? That's what I'd like to know.
I see you're back on the Rams bandwagon. Okay, all right.
It has nothing to do with being on the Rams bandwagon. How are you going to put a rookie out in his first game against one of the best defenses in the NFC?
But you're the same guy that picked Nick Foles against these Rams last week.
Yes, because the Bears' defense is just as good.
Okay, all right.
You think the Bears' defense isn't good?
No, I think it is, but you picked Nick Foles, from the line.
Yes, I picked Nick Foles because of their defense, not Nick Foles because of their offense. Completely different. But good choice. Anyway, moving along. So, Tua is not going to have much of a chance to do anything because, as you saw, the Bears couldn't do much. Most of the teams that play the Rams don't have a chance to do anything. Tua is going to be scrambling and running in the backfield. He's going to have to make smart decisions. And the game's going to be moving a lot quicker than everybody's played with when he was in the SEC. What do you think about that, Spenser?
There's going to be a big welcome to the NFL moment for Tua, and it's when Aaron Donald drives him into the ground. I mean, do I think that Tua is going to be a good NFL quarterback in the future? Yes. Do I think it's going to be this weekend? No, I don't. I think that the Rams are going to handle their business. I think you saw what they did against Chicago. It's weird. Their offense is so hot and cold. You know, the week before it was terrible. This last week it was good. I think they're gonna bludgeon Miami. I think that they get that running game going. Henderson and Brown are a really good duo in the backfield. And as long as Goff looks competent, they'll be okay. I like that pick. I like the Rams to cover the spread.
I'm with you. And Spenser, I love what you said about Aaron Donald because I was thinking the same exact thing. Look, Tua is a very talented quarterback. I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch in the future, but not right now. In this game against the Rams, I am so sorry that he has to start against Aaron Donald, who is one of the best defensive players we have seen in probably the last 10, 15 years. I mean, he is unbelievable with what he does. He makes, huge offensive linemen that are 300 plus pounds look like they're a feather. He like destroys them. And look, Tua, like I said, going to be fun to watch, but hello to Tua because he is going to be clobbered with the way Aaron Donald's going to play. And that's obviously just talking about the defense. The offense is still good. Look, they weren't amazing this week, but they got the job done. And I'm not going to sit here and rave about the Rams offense because I don't think that they deserve to be raved about, but they were still good. They were good, good enough at least, right? They got the job done. And with Aaron Donald on the defense, anchoring them, obviously, as long as Jared Goff and that running game going, and Spenser, I love what you said because I 100% agree. As long as they get things going, they'll win that game for sure. And John, I'm sorry because I know you're a Miami fan. I know you're excited to see Tua, but this is not where he's getting his first win. Maybe in the next few weeks, but not this week against the Rams.
I mean, he's going to have a great career if he stays healthy, but this is not the spot where I'm looking for him to do well. And if he does, more power to him, but I just don't see it.
If Ryan Fitzpatrick plays this game, I might pick differently. That's all I'm going to say.
So looking at these stats for this game, the Rams give up 17 points a game. The Dolphins give up 18. That's why I don't like the line for the Rams getting 4.5 because I feel like it's going to be a low-scoring game between the two, and it's going to be hard to separate that 4.5 that the Rams have they're favored by. With it being a low-scoring game, I think it's going to be a 13-10 type of game. It's going to be real low-scoring. Neither team gives up 20 points a game. 17 for the Rams, 18 for the Dolphins.
So you think that the Dolphins defense is going to be able to shut down the Rams offense?
Yeah, the Rams only score 25 points a game. The Dolphins score 26 a game. So neither offense is lighting it up. The defenses are holding teams under 20 points a game. Line-wise, I don't like picking that 4.5 for the Rams because I think it's going to be low scoring.
Interesting. But who do you pick to win the game? That's what
I thought we were going by lines.
Well, I do, but I am curious to hear what you have to say.
I'm
going
to go Dolphins win the game.
So the bias comes out. There it is. That's what I just wanted to hear.
I have to pick the Dolphins. But line-wise, I don't like the Rams in this one because both defenses are really good. And the Dolphins have a better turnover margin than the Rams do.
JB, you're making a face. What is it?
Because you can't just go by pure stats. They've played different teams. The Dolphins played the Jets, so the numbers are skewed.
But the Dolphins defense has played really well since Byron Jones has come back.
I'm not saying that the Dolphins aren't a team on the rise, but they're not beating the Rams. It's not going to be a close game.
I'm just explaining to you why I don't like the line.
The line is 4.5 because the Rams are traveling across the country after playing Monday night, and they're playing a team that the line should be higher, and it probably will be because you have Tua in his first start.
Plus, they are coming off a bye. So that also is a reason that line's where it is.
The line will probably go up, but I wouldn't take too much stock in it.
All right, before we bring Jeff on, why don't we go over the rest of our picks for the week? I'll start it off. I got the Seahawks. I got the Eagles this week against the Cowboys. Not much to really say. The Cowboys are a dumpster fire, and especially with Philly at home this week. Cowboys don't even know who's starting a quarterback. We don't know, confirmed yet. That's a nightmare. So I'm taking the Eagles to cover the 7.5-point spread. Next, I have the Bills at the Patriots at 3.5. I'm taking the Bills to cover as well. This is a Patriots team that hasn't looked great. The Bills have not been great either, but I think this is, again, we keep talking about bounce backs. This is where I feel like they're going to start to really bounce back and start performing at the level that they should be. And then my last pick for the week were the Chiefs at the Jets. I don't think there needs to be much explaining. The Chiefs are going to run all over the Jets. However, the fact that it's a 19-point spread, I don't think they're going to cover because just inevitably, I don't think the Chiefs are going to outscore them that badly. I do think they will win, but I actually don't pick them to cover this week. I think eventually they'll stop scoring, and it'll be like 21-3 or something stupid, and that'll just be the end of the. It'll be something like that where they just stop. Spencer, what do you got?
All right, so as I mentioned earlier in the show, I have the Raiders plus 2.5 over Cleveland. I have the Ravens -4 over Pittsburgh. That we talked in depth about that game. My final two games, I have the Chargers away over the Denver Broncos. They're 3-point favorites. The Chargers are trending up right now. The Broncos are trending down. Justin Herbert is looking like one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Drew Lock is looking like an injury-prone dude with a baby face who constantly loses football games. So I like the Chargers to cover that. And then I like Green Bay, 6.5-point favorites at home against Minnesota. I just think, the way Rodgers is playing right now, they look great. Minnesota looks off. Divisional game. I think Rodgers would love to stick it to Kirk Cousins and the Vikings and just drop like a 38-point burger on them or something like that. I like the Packers to cover the 6.5 points.
Yeah, so as I said, I have the Rams coming across the coast down to Miami and, making it tough for Tua -4. I think that they're going to win pretty easily. New England's traveling up to Buffalo. I got Buffalo -3.5. I think the Bills are the better team. You heard on the Thursday show what I had to think about Belichick. I think Buffalo is a much better team. Plus, they didn't play that well against the Jets. I think that they're going to want to step up their game this game. It's a much more meaningful game playing New England to them. So I think they're going to come out and play their best. I got the Seahawks -3 over the 49ers. I think that they're just a better team. The 49ers have a really good defense, but their offense isn't there. And coming off a tough loss to Arizona, I think the Seahawks are going to come back. And the pick that hurts me the most, the Bucks -11 against the Giants on Monday Night Football. I don't want any part of betting my Giants. I hate betting against them, but how are the Giants going to stop that offense? They can't stop anybody. I think us four could score a couple of touchdowns on them.
JB, you're not remembering Daniel Jones's first win ever was against the Buccaneers.
Yes,
different
I know.
Game, different year.
I'll never forget that. That was the end of Eli, but this is totally different. It's just going to be ugly.
John?
And for mine, I had talked in depth about Pittsburgh. That's my lock of the week. I talked about San Fran. I'm picking them as my other pick, 3.5, plus 3.5. Talked in depth about the Raiders. That's one of my other picks, +3 on the road. I like them. And then Detroit. I like them, +2.5. They're at home. The Colts have given away the ball 7 times this year. Phillip Rivers is a turnover machine. And the Lions have only taken it away 7 times. But I think it's going to be more here. I think this is going to be a turnover game, and Phillip Rivers is prone to turning the ball over. And the Lions have played really good football as of late. So I like the Lions 2.5. I really like the Lions winning this game.
All right. Well, we are going to bring in our NFL expert, Jeff Cadillac, to give his 4 picks of the week. How you doing, Jeff?
I'm doing well, fellas. Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you. What are your picks for the week, Jeff?
All right. I'm listening to you guys, and I'm starting to get confused, but I'll go through my games. The first game I like is definitely Tennessee. I told you guys about Pittsburgh last week, and Tennessee, unfortunately they lost against Pittsburgh by a missed field goal. I like them this week to bounce back at Cincinnati, laying 5.5 on the road. Cincinnati has the 28th, rated rush defense. I think Derrick Henry was held to 75 yards last week, and I said that the secondary for Pittsburgh was going to step up, and they did. Well, he's gonna run rampant over this team, and you throw in a few passes by Tannehill. I see it as a nice blowout by Tennessee. Cincinnati, their defense is pretty bad. Their defensive line is pretty bad. And, when Joe Burrow starts getting some guys around him, this team is going to really turn around. But right now, this game, Tennessee's going to bounce back nice right over Cincinnati. The second game I'm looking at right here is Las Vegas on a bounce back. Last week, they basically got picked and taken to school by Tom Brady. Cleveland, they were lucky to get by Cincinnati last week. If it wasn't for that last drive with a minute to go, and they missed the point extra, and they screwed the spread for a lot of people. But this week they got no Odell Beckham. He's out for the season. Cleveland also has the 30th rate pass defense. So Derek Carr and company are going to go hog wild over Cleveland and show everybody that their defense is pretty bad. Last week, Las Vegas, they got caught with their pants down. It was a close game going into the fourth quarter. It was 24-20 Tampa Bay, but Brady showed who's boss, and 3 straight touchdown drives. Ended the game 45-20. I agree with Spence. I like Las Vegas to bounce back with 2.5 at Cleveland. Next game I'm looking at is Minnesota Green Bay. Green Bay's laying 6.5. As I said again last week, Rodgers on a bounce back. You got to be careful. Minnesota's just terrible this year. It looks like they're going to blow that team up after the season. Dalvin Cook is questionable for this game. Without him, if he's not even in the lineup, you can forget about it. Minnesota is definitely, their defense is terrible. Their 28th total defense, 29th against the pass. Rodgers can't wait to get at these guys because he's going to light it up, big against Minnesota. I see him putting up a 40 against Minnesota this week. Last week I was, with the Chargers against the Jags. I was pretty close. I said they put up 40, they put up 39. But this week Green Bay is going to be doing the scoring. They're going to put 40 up against Minnesota. And the last game that I'm looking at for you guys is Monday Night Football. Tampa Bay -10 at the Giants. I know we got a few Giant fans out there, but come on, Giants, Daniel Jones, he's like the turnover monster. He 34 turnovers in his 20 games. Then he's running all the way to the end zone. He gets hit by the turf monster. He falls down and nobody touched him and everything. I mean, he's never going to live that one down. Giants eventually scored on that drive, but Brady and Gronk and company, and they're going to take it to the Giants this week on Monday night.
Well, Jeff, I like what you had to say except for the Giants, but sadly I don't disagree. I think you're right. Daniel Jones is a turnover machine, and I'm constantly talking about it, and that's painful. But besides that, I agree. That hurt, like I said, but I agree. As always, Jeff, thank you for having us, or excuse me, for being on our show with us. You want to send out tell the people where they can find you real quick?
Yeah, you can find me. You can check out all the analysis on these games and every game every week for free on my website, jeffcadillac.com. And you can check Twitter at jeffcadillac1 every week for my best bet of the week. So far, I'm 5-2 this season.
All right. It was good talking to you, Jeff.
Take care, fellas.
Have a good one, Jeff.
All right. Well, that is going to be it for Journey with the Jays NFL Sunday edition. As always, check out our regular show that we have on the same station, Real 1100 AM on Thursdays. And everybody enjoy your day of football.